There. So in this video we're going to take a look at what's involved in modeling this pair of interlocked twisted bands using SolidWorks. So it's quite complicated geometry, but the main thing to look at is that the two shapes, the red and the yellow in this case, are both identical, just twisted out of shape. So we're just going to draw one of those and then we'll do all the work on that and then we'll copy it. So moving over to SolidWorks, we're going to open up a new part and we're going to start a sketch of a circle on the top plane. Spacebar, normal 2, and it's very important to start at the origin. So snap onto the origin and draw a circle, and we'll dimension that to be 200. The dimensions aren't critical, you can use your own, but for now let's go 200 and close that sketch. So that's the first sketch, and because I drew that on the top plane, if I now go to the front plane and start a sketch on the front plane, spacebar, normal 2, that's exactly 90 degrees to the circle, which is what I'm after. And I want to draw a line, but the type of line I want is this midpoint line. And I do want to snap it onto the circle, but for now I'll just draw it over here to the left somewhere. And just make sure you draw it perfectly vertical, like that. Make sure you get that little green tag showing me that that line is vertical. And let's give that a dimension. Let's say it's going to be 30. And I'll just move into 3D for a second. And I want that center point of that line to be pierced or coincident with that circle. So to do that, I'll hold Control, select the middle of the line and anywhere on that curve in the other sketch, then select Pierce. Press the green tick, there you have it. So close that sketch, and it's important that both of those happen on two different sketches. So we'll now go to the surfaces. Remember, if you don't have the surfaces tab, right click any of the other tabs and turn on surfaces. But in surfaces, we're going to go to lofted surface. In this, sorry, not a loft, swept surface. Swept surface. In this top box, the profile, that's going to be the straight line. And in this bottom box, the path, that's going to be the circle. And it's going to try and make that band shape for us, but I want a twist in it. Now, depending on your version, from 2016 SolidWorks onwards, you'll follow my lead, but in the older versions, it's still in here in options, but you probably will need to go into profile orientation and find twist or twist along path. But for the newer versions, it's in the second option, profile twist. It's currently set to none. But now I want to specify twist value. I don't want to twist it by degrees, I want to twist it by revolutions, and I want just a single revolution. Press the green tick, there you have a flat surface that is twisted like that. That's got no thickness, so still in the surfaces tab, let's go to thicken. And I want to select this middle option so it'll thicken evenly in and out. And I want it to be 1 millimeter thick. But if I type in 1 millimeter, it'll actually make it 2 millimeters. It'll go 1 mil out and 1 mil in. So let's set that to 0.5 of a millimeter and press the green tick. Now I have a solid to work with. And if you want at this point, you could go to fillet. Features, fillet. You can do a full round fillet. I'm just going to do a regular fillet for now. And let's just go 0.5 of a mil and we'll do the 4 edges. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time adding the fillets in this video. They're pretty easy to add yourself afterwards. So there I've got that rounded off. And it's no problem making it a bit thicker. The measurements aren't critical here. What I'm going to do now is start a sketch of another circle on the same plane, which is the front plane. Spacebar, normal 2. And I'm going to draw the circle over here to the left somewhere. We'll dimension that to have a diameter of 20. And what I want is for that to be perfectly in line with the origin and the original radius, which is 100 out. So let's use a center line. I'm going to draw a center line very carefully from the middle of that circle to the origin. And I'll click that center line and make sure it's horizontal. And I'll set that to be 100 mil. And all that does really is make sure that that is perfectly in the center of the band, the twisted band. And I don't actually want a circle, I want a semicircle. So now I'm going to draw a line very carefully from the top to the bottom of that circle. Then use my trim entities with the power trim activated. Click and hold anywhere out here in the middle of nowhere and drag and draw a line to cross the circle and it'll split half the way into a semicircle. Then you can close the sketch. There we have it. Now I've got a semicircle. I'm going to do a revolved cut to cut the shape of that semicircle out of the band. So let's go to Features, Revolved Cut, which is there, and pick up the straight line, that vertical line, press the green tick, and there you have it. So it's cut one of them out. I want a number of them, somewhere around 20-ish of them I want cut out. And in a second I'm going to have to circular pattern that, but I need an axis first of all. I need a vertical axle or axis going through the center of this band. So to put that in, reference geometry, axis, and make sure you select this option, two planes. I want an axis to go in at the intersection of two planes. The two planes will be, from this drop-down menu, their front plane and their right plane. And there you can see the little yellow axis has gone in right through the center of this bend. Now we go to Features, not Linear Pattern, but underneath it, Circular Pattern. The axis in my case has already selected itself, but if not, click on the axis. The features I want to bring are the circular hole there. It might be easier to pick it up from the list here rather than the graphics window. So for features, select Cut Revolve, and you can put in whatever number you feel like. Now, let's just put in 22 for now, and press the green tick. The number that will work will depend on the radius and the thickness of the band. I've worked this out previously, 22 will work. So that's one band. Let's now get a second band and make a copy of it and twist it out of alignment with that first band. So we're going to go to Insert, Features, Move Copy. If yours looks like mine on the left there, then you're all set. If not, if you see the word Constraints there, you're okay. But if you see the words Translate, Rotate at the bottom, click Translate, Rotate, not Constraints. This is the Translate, Rotate menu. So bodies to move copy, that's going to be the band. Go down to Rotate. Yours may be minimized like that. Maximize Rotate. And in that first option, I will need to specify the axis. So select Axis 1. Make sure you tick Copy, because I don't want to move that band. I want to leave it behind me and make a copy. So hit Copy. And again, the 90 degrees I'm going to put in here works for me with this radius, with this band, and with the 22 holes. 90 degrees may or may not work for you. You might have to work out your maths if you've got a different size band. But for me, you can see that works. If I press the green tick, everywhere there's a hole now, there's one of those little stems going between it. Just a bit of housekeeping now. I'm going to right click the axis and hide it. And I'm going to go over here to the Appearances, Scenes and Decals. Let's give one of them maybe a red plastic, and let's put it onto the body, and let's give the other yellow plastic, put that onto the body, and there you have it.